Hi, Taurus, and welcome to your 2019 energy forecast. I was trying very hard to not say January, but you guys, January readings are coming right after this. So I've pulled all of the major arcana out of my deck because, of course, those are all spiritual lessons and, those that come down from spirit that are unavoidable. Gotta love those. So I'm going to look at an overall energy for the year as far as spiritual lessons are involved, as well as a catalytic energy for the year. I'm going to look at a subconscious influence, which ultimately will come into your awareness, but it's pretty much what's going to be the program running underneath it all throughout the year. And then we're going to look at what's coming into your awareness coming into this year. And lastly, we're going to pick a card from a deck that I have of Universal Truths to give you a meditative mantra for 2019. So we are going to ask Spirit to give us clear and direct guidance. For my Taurians, please, Spirit, I ask that you give me the ability to interpret the messages for Taurus that will assist them in unfolding their highest good in this year, anything that will assist them in their personal growth as well as evolution, anything that will assist them in attuning to their highest good this year. I ask that that be revealed in this reading. And I thank you in advance, Spirit. And BTW, I've been talking all day, so my voice is so not on fleek. And I have sage burning and my little Himalayan salt candle and stuff, so I'm feeling extra breezy. So this is, Taurus chill me. Hi, fellow chill Taurus. I see you out there in your pajamas. All right. Thank you, Spirit. What did we name my amethyst? Booty Doo? All right, let's see. So for our central energy, we have Blossom, which is the Sun card. Catalytic energy is Shine or the Star card. Subconscious influence is the Lovers. And what's coming into our awareness is Trust. How beautiful. So clarity has come. There's a central theme with every single sign I have done so far. And even though Taurus has different cards, I still see that energy here in the sense that, where's my water? Oh, excuse me. Had to wet my Taurian whistle. So anyway, so the thing that I'm seeing is it's like, I guess the simplest way to put it would be awakening, but it's almost awakening to, and I said this in one of my readings, the one that I did for the channel anniversary, I was saying like how coming into 2019, those of you who have toiled and labored and planted the seeds and taken the responsibility of watering them and making sure there's no weeds and there's enough sunlight, but feeling like you're putting so much time, effort, and energy into things, but not ever getting the harvest. That's been the theme of 2018 for Taurus. It's been almost as if there was a unrelenting fight, an uphill battle, so to speak, and wanting to give up, but it not being in your nature to give up. Trying to be a pessimist, but not being able to be a pessimist, and growing angry with oneself at the fact that you cannot turn off your optimism, right? So I feel as if this last week, because I'm recording this, what is this, the 30th of December? Within this last week or in the beginning of January, there's going to begin to be little things that kind of trickle in or have already trickled in that are small signs of hope, so to speak. And I think that there's a tad bit of doubt because I think throughout 2018, and I think this is something that we've joked about a lot, especially in love readings, where there's this glimmer of hope, but it's dashed, you know? But looking at the central energy being the sun and that being challenged by the star, it's more or less Taurus coming to the realization that it was never about the sun shining from above or for me seeing light from an external source. It's more or less coming into this knowingness, and it'll manifest for different people differently. But the fact that the source of light isn't from without, but it's from within, right? And starting to see, and it's slightly kind of how it was with Gemini as well, where it's a change of perspective. It's almost as if you saw just a glimmer of the true self, because I think and that's something a lot of people don't know about Taurus, we're very familiar with darkness. We may not manifest it, but it's like with Scorpio being our opposite sign, it totally makes sense, because I think behind the smile of every Taurus is like an emo kid. It's just not everybody sees that unless you really know us. You know what I mean? It's like we like to wear black. I'm wearing orange. Look at that. I look all like, like chipper and things of the sort. But it's more or less going back to that optimism you couldn't turn off. It's more or less because you're now seeing you are the light, right? And I have to, of course, use a cheesy dad reference. Um, it was a breakup that I had like eons ago. And the way that my dad made me feel better was it's a song that came out in the 70s. And the song is called, what is it? Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone. And my daddy's like, whenever you leave, ain't no sunshine in their life, you know? But that's kind of what this is. It's Taurus really understanding, because we are always acting as the rock, always acting as the strength for everyone else. But I think more often than not, we can fall into this role of there being a pseudo strength. It's more or less, I need to be strong because that's what's expected of me. And because everyone's expecting me to be strong, I can't break, I can't cry, I can't be weak, right? But it's understanding, it's almost everything coming full circle and understanding that in your weakness, like if things have gotten so bad to the point for Taurians where somewhere between November and into December, if not before, that you've had like a complete breakdown, that was needed to remind you that it's not in your pseudo strength that strength is found, but it's in acknowledging the fact that you're human and that you're weak and that you cry sometimes, even though it may not be in front of everybody. It's in acknowledging that you were able to break that final block. And the moment that you broke through that final block, it's almost as if the brightest radiance you've ever fathomed, and I'm saying this proverbially or metaphorically speaking, shot out from your inner being, and it's now casting light on everything in your life to where you're seeing it from a different perspective. So whereas it seemed as if you were sowing seeds and they weren't growing, you're starting to realize that they're budding. But because you were looking for a completely finished product, you didn't notice the little, seedlings that were coming through the surface, right? And the challenge is going to be, presently, Taurus is in a place, or in January, going into the year, and I would even Spirit is saying 3, so up until March, Spirit is revealing Taurus to Taurus on an authentic level. So Taurus has already started to become acquainted with Taurus, or going into 2019, Taurus is becoming acquainted with Taurus. The challenge is going to be the beauty that you see that you are is now projecting that into the world and showing up in a way of confidence, with dominion, authority, and full openness of showing the world who you are, showing the world your weaknesses, letting your friends know that you actually do cry and that your tear ducts are not dried up. It's sharing your dreams. It's sharing your fears. It's almost humanizing yourself to let those people know. It's almost removing that false responsibility. Thank you, Spirit. Removing that false responsibility of needing to always be the one that has all of the answers, or needing to be the rock for everyone. And now opening yourself up and allowing other people to be the rock for you. Because I think for each and every one of you, which is a lesson I had to learn several times throughout my life, my best friends can tell you that. They will happily tell you many stories of how I allowed myself, it's a really funny one that's coming up in my mind right now, that I would allow myself to get to the point of my life completely dismantling before I would ever admit that I needed help, because I looked at needing assistance or admitting that I needed assistance as a weakness. I viewed crying as a weakness, but I realized that it was in my brokenness, or acknowledging my brokenness, or allowing myself to revel in my brokenness even, is the place that I found my strength, because it broke every single pseudo false wall or defense mechanism that I had to keep up this exterior veneer of, being this warrior woman, right? But warrior women cry, dagnabbit son of a gun, I said. So your subconscious influence. In this, oh gosh, here comes relationship stuff. So, message from Spirit. Taurus. Every block that you've had in relationships in 2018 was because there was a fragmentation within. You were going through a transmutation process. This is making me think about DNA structure. It's almost, and I talk about this a lot, it's like when you're ascending to the state of the golden aura, so to speak. And it's like those lower vibrational energies are burning off, right? It's almost the equivalent, and perfect example, it's the equivalent of the butterfly, which is, of course, overdone example. But let me tell you something you may not know about the butterfly. So a caterpillar has a certain DNA structure, right? Butterflies have an entirely different DNA structure. I learned this from the insectarium at Audubon Zoo. Yeah, you pay attention to the tour guides. Anyway, so a caterpillar has a different DNA structure than a butterfly. So in essence, when they go into their chrysalis, it's an entirely new being that emerges when the chrysalis cracks, right? And it's almost a complete renewal and rebirth. It's an understanding where I can look back at my experience and I can see why, when I was a caterpillar, how that was a relevant experience, and why I aimlessly ate and sat around all day. If that's not Taurus, I don't know what it is. Anyway, but now it's like I'm free to fly. I'm no longer bound to my experience, but it's within the framework of my understanding, because I understand that that stage in my life was necessary, because had it not been for that, I couldn't be all that I've emerged into now, right? So when it comes to your relationships, and I think I spoke about this with Gemini, talking about blocks, like how things that were hindered in your life, and it's like you pray and you're like, why, God, why hasn't this happened for me yet? It's more or less the fact that you were undone in 2018. You weren't complete. You weren't a complete finished product. Anything that you would have drawn into your life would have been just as undone as you, because we attract what we are. So more or less, the relationships that Taurians had in 2018 that didn't work out were for your benefit, right? The people that you didn't meet that you felt like you should have met, that was for your benefit. But now, having this self-awareness and this understanding now, knowing on a core level that all things are manifesting and unfolding for your highest good, knowing that you're at the center of it, because it's not that these things are manifesting just, pie in the sky out of nowhere. It's your inner state. It's that higher mind. It's that optimism and you taking ownership of it and internalizing it and owning it. It's you being balanced between your divine masculine and feminine, and knowing that you are action oriented and you are loyal and you do have the ability to be strong and to be a rock. But it's also knowing that sometimes I break, sometimes I cry, sometimes I don't know, sometimes I'm scared, sometimes I don't have the answers. You know what I mean? So it's that strong friend complex is breaking, right? And what's emerging is a more balanced being who does not have to hide facets of themselves to present a certain product of what is assumed that others are looking for. And because you're showing up in this way, it's allowing you to draw in someone who's very much reflective of your authentic essence, the beauty of who you are, minus all of the defense mechanisms, right? It's like the bull with the bow in its hair. Dudes, too, y'all got a bow. I said it. Anyway, what's coming into your awareness is the Fool card. And first word I heard was infinite. So it's more or less, again, it's finding power in the not knowing, which is so crucial. And I've said that for a couple of people, and that's really true power. It's the fact that I could not have the answers. I could be lost and scared, right? But because of my trust in spirit, because that has been a theme so far, is connecting with spirit, like really understanding what this whole thing is about. That's what gives me the courage to leap. That's what gives me the courage to take chances. That's what gives me the courage to start that business that I've been too afraid to start. It's what gives me that courage to publish that book I've been sitting on for years. It's what gives me the courage to finally say hey to that chick in my office that I've been liking for the last 5 years, but I've been too afraid to talk to. Yes, you. Because it's knowing that whether it works or it doesn't, it's always in my highest good. So whether you don't get that job, whether the book doesn't sell, whatever the case may be, it's always for my benefit. And it's you guys finally getting the recognition you felt was due to you, not because someone outside of you acknowledged your greatness, but because you acknowledged it first. And everyone else is just following suit of what you're doing. Therefore, you're reflecting your balanced inner state, your inner love with the external world. You feel me? 18 minutes. Doing good. So we are going to pick your last card from my deck of Universal Truths. So Spirit, please give me a card for my Taurians for 2019. I consider this your meditative mantra. I would suggest, because y'all know I'm a big note taker, to get your little trusty dusty notebook, journal, or a piece of paper that you won't lose. You could even put it on a sticky note, dagnabbit. And to write this down, because I don't know which one's going to come out, of course, but some of them are little conundrums. But still in all, I would take the time to write this down and to spend some time meditating on it to see what spirit continues to unfold to you about it. Okay, and I feel like these two want to come out because they were sticking out the side there. Okay, so first card says, there is nothing scary about life if you are not attached to the results. What? Releasing the outcome. And there's freedom in that, man. When you can go into something, even a relationship, When you can go into a relationship and not instantly think, is this my life partner? Are we going to spend the rest of our lives together? And you can just experience getting to know another human being, which is my personal fascination. I just enjoy getting to know people. I don't really have any investment in the latter, like how things ultimately pan out. It doesn't really make a difference to me one way or the other. I'm just fascinated by other human beings and learning about their experiences, their perceptions, what they've been through, how they overcame the things that they've been through, hearing about their callings and their purpose and their meanings behind the things that they've experienced in their life, and how all of their experiences have created this very unique, one of a kind person, like a person that has never existed prior to them and will never exist after them. It's like I honor all people in that regard. And the fact that whether, others could perceive someone as good or as bad, as evil, good, whatever, it's just the simple fact that you're unique in your makeup. And I honor that, right? So when we can not necessarily have expectations, not meaning in standards of who we allow into our lives, but releasing attachment from the outcome, it prevents a lot of disappointment from happening. When we put all of our eggs into a basket and we expect things to turn a certain way, that's another form of trying to control life, and we're always disappointed. And life can become tasteless and monotonous when we're trying to control the experiences that we have, as opposed to surrendering to the freedom of what it's like to just exist in the moment and to take it in the moment, living life moment to moment. I'm just going to keep saying moment. Next card. Ooh, this is a lot. Right now, in this moment, didn't I just say these cards are creepy? I'm just being real. I just kept saying moment. I didn't even look at this. Okay, anyway. Weird. Right now, in this moment, your soul has again created opportunity for you to be, do, and have what it takes to know who you really are. Your soul has brought you to the words you are reading right now, as it has brought you to the words of wisdom and truth before. What will you do now? What will you choose to be? Because in every moment, you are recreating yourself. That is why you don't want to be attached to the outcome, because who you are today, who you were yesterday, who you will be tomorrow are three totally different people. And if one of us is attached to the outcome, one of us is going to be disappointed. And I promise you, it's going to be the present self and the future self. Just saying. But anyway, guys, I really do feel with these two, if you guys, rewind this, write that down, just kind of say it to yourself 3 times and close your eyes and sit with that. Even if it's rereading it, I really feel like Spirit is going to unfold that to you to even deeper and greater magnanimousness. Taurus, that has been your 2019 energy forecast. I think I introduced myself. I'm not really sure. Everything's in the description box below. You guys, January readings are coming next. But until then, I love your freaking face. Deuces.